This gun is out there and it's being carried by thousands of police officers every single day.
Dozens of such incidents have occurred across the country.
Another Massachusetts police officer.
Tampa Police Reserve officer says his department-issued weapon fired without him pulling the trigger.
The Sig Sauer P320 is one of the country's most popular handguns. It is owned by hundreds of thousands of civilians and used by officers in at least 1,000 police departments. A version of the P320 is used by every branch of the U.S. military. An 8-month investigation by the Trace and the Washington Post has found that since 2016, more than 100 people alleged their P320 pistols discharged when they did not pull the trigger. At least 80 people were wounded in these incidents, including law enforcement officers. In a written response to questions from the Trace and the Post, Sig Sauer said that the P320 model pistol is among the most tested, proven, and successful handguns in small arms history, and that despite years of litigation and extensive discovery, legal teams have been unable to replicate the gun's alleged defect. The company said independent investigations showed some unintentional discharges were caused by improper or unsafe handling. Sig Sauer Incorporated, which is headquartered in Newington, New Hampshire, faces lawsuits from at least 70 people who allege the company is selling a defective product. 4 police officers and military veterans who are suing the company spoke on camera about their alleged incidents and injuries.
Where I just keep all my uniforms. I've been a patrol officer for about 10 years. I became a detective back in November of 2022 with the Family Services Unit. On the day of the incident, I came into work, we did roll call, I grabbed my duty bag, my lunch bag, and started walking down the back lot towards the cruiser that I was going to take. And as I'm walking to the cruiser, I heard a loud bang and I felt a searing hot pain in my right thigh. I was scared. I was very scared because I thought someone had shot at me.
SIG as a brand is heavily marketed and known in the gun world. I read up on the contract that they were awarded by the Army.
As Sig Sauer introduces the P320 M17, the same innovation and versatility as the U.S. Army's M17 in a civilian version.
And I figure if it's good enough for the United States Army, it's good enough for me. I placed the firearm inside the holster, inside my pocket. Then I proceeded down the steps. There's a loud explosion, and then there's an excruciating pain that's going through my thigh.
This is the actual firearm itself in the case that it comes from. My son-in-law and I were out on our personal range. I had just shot the first of 3 rounds and reholstered the gun, and it went off. Needless to say, there was a certain expletive that was uttered. This is the holster that I was using the day of the incident. As you can see, there's absolutely no way to access the trigger when it is fully holstered.
I joined the Tampa Police Department in 1973. Spent most of my career in the crime prevention field, and the last 20 years have been spent as a reserve officer with the Tampa Police Department. I was working in an extra duty assignment at Jefferson High School, working a baseball game the night that it happened, and it just totally shattered and blew out my ankle and leg bone. This book is just what I put together with my case so that I can keep everything together when I need to refer to something. Here is where the rod goes up and down, and then you can see maybe 4 screws right there and the little plate on the side. The ankle part of it and the lower part of the leg bone was totally shattered, and they had to cut out what was left and drill a hole down the middle of it to put the rod in. And then for a little over a year, I had to actually use what they call a bone growth stimulator every night for a half an hour to try to get the bone to grow around all of these screws and everything. Here you can see where that screw is that goes into my heel, and it goes right up against the skin. I can't bend my foot, and if I step on the heel, that screw, which is right up against the skin, hurts like hell. To date, I've been unable to go back to work, and in all probability now I'm not going to be able. My daily life has totally changed. and it hurts.
I carry on a consistent basis, and the first time that I strapped the firearm back on me again, there was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of fear as far as having a round in the chamber.
It affects you, your intimate life, your financial life, your physical life, your psychological life.
I have a brand new gun since the incident. It's not the same gun that shot me, but it's the same make and model. And it makes me very nervous to carry it. When it first happened, it was hard. I had vivid nightmares of the incident happening again.
Shortly after the incident, I had seen a picture. I noticed that my great-grandson's head was right up against my SIG P320 that's assigned by the department. If that gun would have discharged right then, that'd be the end of it. And sometimes, I'll wake up in the middle of the night just in a cold sweat thinking about that.